In the past, I've done videos on the best footballer at every age from 18 to 40, and the best footballer whose surnames start with every letter in the alphabet from A to Z. Both videos proved to be popular, and one of the most liked comments on both was a request for us to look at the best footballer for every shirt number. Now the reason it's taken this long to come is because it involves some pretty painstaking research, and then midway through there was the January transfer window, where a whole load of inconsiderate players went and joined other clubs and ended up with different shirt numbers. Anyhow, I think I've finally now got every number covered from 1 to 50, so I was happy to go ahead with the video, and I've also included some of the best players with shirt numbers over 50 at the end. So go ahead and subscribe to the hardest working man on YouTube, myself of course, if you haven't already, and I'll continue to repay your faith by taking on any ideas that prove popular, regardless of how tricky or stupid they may sound. To clarify, only current players are considered, and the selections are based on current ability. Here is my view on the best footballer for every shirt number, from 1 to 50. 1. David De Gea. It wasn't long ago that we did a video on the 7 best goalkeepers in world football right now, which David De Gea narrowly topped, so it'd be hypocrisy here if we didn't stand by that judgment. In truth, good arguments can be made for each of De Gea, Manuel Neuer, Jan Oblak, and even Marc-Andre ter Stegen being the best shot stoppers on the planet. But now, as we did then, we just edged towards De Gea, who is just so important to Manchester United and has been for so long now. 2. Diego Godin. I always think the number 2 shirt should go to a really reliable, dependable player who plays every week and never lets you down. Diego Godin fits that criteria pretty nicely, and defensively speaking at least, he is arguably the best centre-half in the world. Now aged 32, Godin has won 125 caps for Uruguay, as well as making more than 400 appearances for Atletico Madrid. 3. Gerard Piqué. It was a tough call between Giorgio Chiellini and Gerard Piqué for the number 3 shirt, with Chiellini the more formidable defender, but Piqué far more assured and intelligent on the ball. In the end, we opted for the more complete talent in Piqué, and as many of you will know, I'm a sucker for a ball-playing centre-half. Piqué has been an absolute mainstay in the Barcelona backline for more than a decade now, racking up almost 500 appearances. 4. Sergio Ramos. It was another tight call between 2 centre-backs for the number 4 shirt, namely Real Madrid captain Sergio Ramos and Liverpool's record signing Virgil van Dijk. We think both could fairly be described as world class right now, although there's very little comparison in terms of what they have achieved within the game at this point. Van Dijk is a superb centre-back who has transformed the Liverpool defence, but Ramos has been at this level for more than a decade now. He's a serial winner and a 9-time FIFA Pro World 11 inclusion, so he gets our pick. 5. Sergio Busquets. There are few better ways to find out how much someone knows about football than to ask them what they think of Sergio Busquets. One of the most intelligent footballers in my lifetime at least, Busquets is a master pivot, a fantastic reader of the game, and so economical with possession. Once the base upon which the genius of Xavi and Iniesta was built upon, Busquets is now one of the older heads guiding Barcelona through games. We'd give an honourable mention to Rafael Varane as well. 6. Paul Pogba. Following a very heavily Spanish-influenced opening 5 players, we could have continued that theme with Thiago Alcantara at number 6, who I am a big fan of, but I have opted for the rejuvenated Paul Pogba instead. A revelation at Manchester United since the arrival of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Old Trafford, barring his sending off at home to PSG, we all know just how good Pogba can be. He's a match winner with such athleticism and vision, and he's our choice for the number 6 shirt. 7. Cristiano Ronaldo. We're just edging towards a time where with Cristiano Ronaldo at 34 years of age and Kylian Mbappe at 20 years of age, the gap is starting to narrow significantly, and some may even opt for Mbappe over the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. We're not going to though. If we're picking a Dream 11 for the Champions League final and we can only have one of Mbappe or Ronaldo this season, I know who I'm picking. Ronaldo's already passed 20 goals for the season in his debut campaign at Juventus, and he's still among the top 2 players on the planet for us. An honourable mention must go to Antoine Griezmann as well. 8. Toni Kroos. Always tipped to be a world-class player even in his teens in Germany, it's still remarkable to think Real Madrid signed Toni Kroos from Bayern Munich at the age of 24 for less than €30 million. the 2014 World Cup winner and 2018 German Footballer of the Year, has been pulling the strings in a side which has won 3 consecutive Champions League titles ever since, and he's our choice for the number 8 shirt. 9. Luis Suarez. Obviously, the number 9 shirt is synonymous with centre forwards, and there are some very good ones for us to choose from here. 2 of the best and most prolific are Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski and Paris Saint-Germain's Edinson Cavani. Cases can be made for either of those 2, but our pick is Barcelona's chompy frontman, Luis Suarez. I thought the 32-year-old Uruguayan showed hints of decline in a couple of games earlier on this season, but he quickly made a fool of me. He's averaging better than a goal every other game for the season and has scored 168 goals in 229 games since signing for Barca in 2014. 10. Lionel Messi. Staying in Catalonia, the number 7 and number 10 shirts are the most iconic in football, and they are occupied in this list by 2 of the greatest footballers to have ever lived. Some fantastic players don the number 10 shirt right now, most notably the likes of Neymar, Luka Modric, Sergio Aguero and Harry Kane, but your luck is always likely to be out when you're up against the finest footballer to have ever laced up a pair of boots, so Messi takes it for 10. 11. Mohamed Salah. I would go as far as to say this was the toughest selection in the entire video, although some of the later numbers were tricky for other different reasons. Candidates for the number 11 shirt include Gareth Bale, Marco Reus and Mohamed Salah. Reus in particular is not just a wonderful footballer, he's also been in inspired form at Borussia Dortmund this season. We could understand a lot of people edging towards him then, but in the end, our choice is Mohamed Salah, who continues to score goals at a sensational rate. Having set a Premier League goals record last season, the Egyptian has already passed the 20 goal mark in all competitions this season as well. 12. Marcelo. 2 of the best 3 or 4 left backs in the world wear the number 12 shirt, namely Juventus star Alex Sandro and longtime Real Madrid servant Marcelo. We like Sandro, but we think Marcelo is the best left back in the world, so he is our choice. Having joined Real Madrid in January 2007, back when Roberto Carlos was still at the club, Marcelo has gone on to prove himself a worthy successor to the World Cup winner. 13. Jan Oblak. We mentioned Jan Oblak as one of the best 3 or 4 goalkeepers in the world when discussing the number 1 shirt, but he actually couldn't have featured there anyway, since the Slovenian wears the number 13 shirt at Atletico Madrid. It's a similar story for Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson Becker, who must get a quick mention. Oblak is such a dependable last line of defence in behind an already very strong Atletico back 4. 14. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. At the time of this recording, which is likely to be a little while before this video actually comes out, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the 3rd highest scorer in the Premier League, behind only Sergio Aguero and Mohamed Salah, and ahead of Harry Kane. That's pretty impressive going, and yet it doesn't really seem like Aubameyang is as impressive as those 3. The Gabonese forward seems to score a high number of braces, but also goes a little quiet in some games. Still, his goal-scoring record doesn't lie, and he's our choice for 14, the same number once donned by Thierry Henry at Arsenal. 15. Stefan Savic. Somewhat surprisingly perhaps, the standout player for the number 15 shirt seems to be Stefan Savic. That's no slight against Savic, who has become a really solid centre-back at Atletico Madrid, but he is their 3rd choice behind Diego Godin and Jose Jimenez. Having failed to nail down a place at Man City as a youngster, Savic breathed new life into his career at Fiorentina, and he's played over 125 games in 3.5 seasons at Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone. 16. Juan Cuadrado. One could make a case for Italian veteran Daniele De Rossi here, who is still an important player for Roma at the age of 35, but the right choice is Juventus wideman Juan Cuadrado. A quick and willing runner who creates a lot of chances from wide areas and is incredibly versatile, Cuadrado had a brief stint at Chelsea in 2015, but he now wears the number 16 shirt at Juventus. 17. Kevin De Bruyne. I seem to be talking about Kevin De Bruyne once a week on YouTube and subsequently mocked for giving him such high praise every week as well. It's not going to stop me though. De Bruyne is a wonderful footballer with such a varied game. His touch is faultless, he can beat players, he knows when to slow things down and when to turn the screw, he puts chances on a plate for his teammates, and he scores a few himself. The only way he wasn't making this list is if he wore the number 7 or 10 shirt. 18. Jordi Alba. One of the best left backs in the world, Jordi Alba is a really easy choice for the number 18 shirt. An inspired signing by Barcelona from Valencia for just €14 million, Alba is quick, good on the ball, and far more astute defensively than a number of modern fullbacks. 19. Leonardo Bonucci. Unlike with 18, 19 was anything but an easy choice. The two candidates were Man City wide man Leroy Sané and Juventus centre-back Leonardo Bonucci. Obviously it's tricky to try and compare a young but enormously talented attacking player with a very experienced, world-class centre-back, but that's what we have to do. I've gone for Bonucci, who is not just an excellent centre-back, but also a really cultured one too, while Sané should still have plenty of room to improve. 20. Bernardo Silva. A Manchester City player may have missed out at 19, but Bernardo Silva quickly makes amends for the number 20 shirt. He was not without his competition, Tottenham and England star Dele Alli and talented Barca utility man Sergio Roberto, the most notable, but we've gone for Silva, who has really stepped it up at the Etihad this season. A tireless runner with a fantastic attitude, Silva is brilliant at operating in tight spaces, which makes him ideal in a Pep Guardiola team. 21. David Silva. Two Silvas who play alongside one another in quick succession, as we think football's finest number 21 right now is David Silva. Aged 33, Silva has been in the Premier League since 2010, and he now deserves to be mentioned alongside the league's greatest midfield players. So consistent, the little Spanish magician has arguably played the best football of his career over the last 18 months, so he walks this one. 22. Isco. A brilliant footballer who still hasn't shown just how good he can be at the highest level at the age of 26, Isco has been with Real Madrid since 2013, having joined Los Blancos off the back of a sensational 2012-13 season with Malaga. Graceful, brilliant on the ball, and with that rare ability to split a defence by playing a ball through the eye of a needle, Isco has all the attributes and he can play in a variety of positions. Although we feel he can become an even more dominant player at the Bernabeu, he's already the best number 22 in the world for us. 23. Christian Eriksen. The number 23 shirt may seem like an unusual choice for Christian Eriksen since he has been a key man at Tottenham for so long, but it does ensure that he makes this list. Eriksen was one of a number of players that Tottenham signed following the lucrative sale of Gareth Bale, but unlike the others, he has been a roaring success. The former Ajax midfielder is one of the finest playmakers in the world, so he beat Samuel Umtiti to top spot for the number 23 shirt for me. 24. Lorenzo Insigne. There are two top-class players who wear the number 24 shirt, namely Napoli captain Lorenzo Insigne and Atletico Madrid centre-back Jose Jimenez, but we think Insigne has to take it. Such a positive footballer who loves to run at defenders, Insigne has excellent close control and he is a prolific creator and taker of chances, typically operating off the left flank. 25. Fernandinho. Marking the halfway point in this list is a player I've spoken about a lot recently, Fernandinho. It wasn't a slam dunk for the Brazilian, who faced competition from Bayern Munich favourite Thomas Muller, who also wears the number 25 shirt, but Fernandinho has been outstanding over the last couple of seasons. If I had to pick a World 11 to play a game tomorrow, he'd be my holding midfielder, and I'm not sure I can afford him any higher praise than that. 26. Kalidou Koulibaly. Napoli's captain and vice-captain sandwich Fernandinho in this list, wearing the number 24 and number 26 shirts respectively. Koulibaly has been a real titan at the back for Napoli for at least 4 years now, but it only seems to have been in the last 6 to 12 months that he has received much wider acclaim as one of the world's best centre-backs. A formidable defender, Koulibaly is a fantastic athlete, so strong and quick when he gets going, but he's also a very good reader of the game. 27. David Alaba. David Alaba is often described as being a very versatile player, and it is true that he has played in a number of positions. Particularly with the Austrian national team, he was often played in central midfield, presumably since they wanted to get him as involved as possible in games. If we're being honest though, we like Alaba at left back, where he became one of the best fullbacks in the world in his early 20s, and where he looks most comfortable. We think he's the world's best number 27. 28. Axel Witsel. There are actually a few decent players who wear the number 28 shirt, but Axel Witsel is the pick of the bunch. The Belgian international looked to have seen the dollar signs and forfeited the chance to test himself against Europe's elite when he left Zenit St. Petersburg for the Chinese Super League in 2017, but he was back in Europe with Dortmund 18 months later. Now a regular fixture for the Bundesliga table toppers, Witsel is a hard-working and intelligent holding midfielder. 29. Kingsley Coman. It was a tough choice deciding whether or not to include Kingsley Coman here, since the Frenchman is by far the most talented player to wear the number 29 shirt, but he has had a horrible time with injuries recently. 2 serious ankle injuries this season and last required surgery, and Coman suggested in December that he would retire if he required a third. When fit, the 22-year-old has searing pace and a real ability to beat players. 30. Nicolas Otamendi. He might not be Man City's first choice centre-back, but Nicolas Otamendi benefits from a lack of serious competition to get our pick as the best number 30. The experienced Argentinian was a regular fixture in City's backline during a historic campaign last season, where his game came on leaps and bounds under Pep Guardiola. His positioning is where Otamendi has come on most strongly, and he's now a very dependable centre-back. 31. Ederson. There's a strong sky blue presence in this list, and for the number 31 shirt, our choice is Pep Guardiola's first choice goalkeeper, Ederson. Despite being signed as a replacement for the disappointing Claudio Bravo, City's error-prone Chilean did retain the number 1 shirt. Ederson is a very accomplished and still very young goalkeeper, age 25, and we recently named him as the 5th best goalkeeper in world football right now. 32. Joshua Kimmich. When Philipp Lahm retired from international football with Germany, and then football altogether with Bayern Munich, it seemed like a hole neither side would be able to plug for many years. However, they'd have done well to find a more suitable replacement than Joshua Kimmich. The versatile and technically gifted young right-back still has a long way to go to be as assured defensively as his predecessor, but he's an exceptional talent and comfortably the world's best number 32. 33. Gabriel Jesus. It didn't take long until we were back at the Etihad, this time for City's number 33 Gabriel Jesus. The 21-year-old has already won 24 caps and has scored 11 goals for the Brazilian national team, and his conversion rate at club level is exceptional too. The only thing stopping Jesus from becoming a first-team regular is the brilliance of Sergio Aguero, and there's no shame in that. 34. Granit Xhaka. I must admit that I'm not a huge fan of Granit Xhaka, although he has been asked to play in a role which doesn't really suit him for most of his Arsenal career. The arrival of Lucas Torreira did bring about an improvement in form from the Swiss international, who could play a little further forward, but I still think he's been a bit disappointing. Still, we're not blessed for choice with number 34s, so Xhaka it is. 35. Igor AKINFEEV. Given that Igor AKINFEEV is CSKA Moscow's all-time record appearance holder, having played 584 games for the club as their first choice goalkeeper over more than 15 years, it's a little unusual that he doesn't wear the number 1 shirt. Whether it's some kind of lucky or superstitious number, we're not sure, but it means the reliable Russian shot stopper is comfortably the world's finest number 35. 36. Ömer Toprak. A bit part player at Borussia Dortmund, who made 36 appearances for the club in his debut campaign last season, Ömer Toprak was sidelined through injury back in September. The Turkish international centre-back joined Dortmund for a little over £10 million from Bayer Leverkusen in the summer of 2017. 37. Milan Skriniar. The quality of this list has remained pretty high so far as we approach our final 10 entrants. Inter Milan have the best defensive record in Serie A this season at the time of this recording, and Slovenian international Milan Skriniar has been a major factor in that. A strong and determined centre-back who doesn't give his opponents an inch, Skriniar only just turned 24, and he could be one of the best centre-backs in the world in years to come. 38. Karim Bellarabi. Plucked from the third tier of German football by Bayer Leverkusen back in 2011, Karim Bellarabi has gone on to amass almost 200 appearances for the Europa League outfit. Capped 11 times by Germany, Bellarabi is a fleet-footed right winger with searing pace and good close control. 39. Salvatore Sirigu. Former PSG number 1 Salvatore Sirigu has won 19 caps for Italy, and he is now the first choice shot stopper at Torino. A solid, if not spectacular goalkeeper, Sirigu is twice named as Ligue 1 Goalkeeper of the Year, and he's our choice as the world's finest number 39. 40. Dominik Livakovic. From one international goalkeeper to another, Dominik Livakovic is a name that will be unfamiliar to most people. Aged only 24, Livakovic has been highly rated from a young age in Croatia, and he has won 3 caps as Daniel Subasic's deputy to date. Livakovic is Dinamo Zagreb's first choice, but he wears the number 40 shirt, presumably because he wanted to feature in this list. 41. Declan Rice. A man who has been in the news a fair bit recently, former Republic of Ireland international Declan Rice has now stated that he intends to represent England at international level instead. Rice could prove a really useful addition to the England squad, which looks a little lacking in the middle of the park, and Rice has been seriously impressive at West Ham this season. One suspects his shirt number may change over the summer, but right now it is more reflective of a youth player than a nailed-on first-team starter. 42. Steven Nzonzi. A player who never got the appreciation he deserved during his 6 seasons in the Premier League, particularly his last 3 at Stoke City, there's a good reason why the Frenchman was named as the Potters Player of the Year in his final season. Since leaving Stoke, Nzonzi has signed for Sevilla and then Roma, winning the Europa League with the former and the World Cup with France. There can be no doubts about our choice for the number 42 shirt. 43. Kevin Mbabu. Deemed as surplus to requirements by Rafa Benitez at Newcastle United, Kevin Mbabu could well leave fans in the northeast wondering what might have been over the next few years. The 23-year-old has been sensational since leaving for Young Boys in 2017, even breaking into the Swiss national team, and it seems likely there'll only be a matter of time before he's having another crack at the highest level. 44. Ivan Perisic. The number 44 shirt is a particular favourite of mine, now I'm serious, and it seems a couple of very good players agree. Despite being a seemingly quite obscure shirt number, we had to decide between Ivan Perisic and Kostas Manolas for the number 44 shirt, which wasn't an easy decision. We edged towards Perisic, Inter Milan's dangerous wide man who has been linked with moves to both Arsenal and Tottenham. 45. Fernando Forestieri. There is quite the drop-off in quality from the number 44 shirt to number 45, so much so that our choice for number 45 plays for struggling Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship, had an arrest warrant out for him earlier this season, and was recently sent off. That's a little harsh, since Forestieri is a talented if rather irritating centre-forward or attacking midfielder, and he was being linked with £15 million moves not that long ago. 46. Scott Malone. Sticking with the Championship, next up in this list is versatile Derby County defender Scott Malone. Formerly of Fulham and Huddersfield, Malone has been a regular fixture at left back under Frank Lampard, although he is also capable of playing on the left wing. 47. Phil Foden. An unsurprising entrant in this list, there isn't a great deal of competition when you don the number 47 shirt. Phil Foden may only have played 30 games for Manchester City, but that's still a very impressive output for an 18-year-old at a team with ridiculous competition in his position. So confident on the ball, Foden is willing to run at people, and he has a real eye for a pass. If properly developed, he could be a huge player for England on the international stage. 48. Yevgeny Lutsenko. Clearly the calibre of player drops off as we approach number 50 in this list, and our choice for the number 48 shirt is uncapped Russian striker Yevgeny Lutsenko. A big frontman suited to playing as a foil and strike partner for a more prolific scorer, Lutsenko plays for Dynamo Moscow. 49. James Forrest. Some of Celtic's best players seem to have much higher shirt numbers than you might expect, and James Forrest is one of them. A one-club man who has made more than 300 appearances at Parkhead, Forrest is among the best players in the Ladbrokes Premier League. A quick and intelligent right winger with an eye for goal, the 27-year-old has bagged 12 goals from 36 outings so far this term. 50. Ante Erceg. Our final inclusion, although we will quickly mention a few players with shirt numbers above 50 before we leave you, Ante Erceg is the best player we can find who wears the number 50 shirt. A quick, skillful and versatile forward who was excellent for 2 seasons with Hajduk Split, the 29-year-old left Croatia in 2018 in a move to the United Arab Emirates. He's now back in Europe playing for Brondby where, you guessed it, he wears the number 50 shirt. So that's it for our 1 to 50, but we'll give quick mentions to Celtic star and Scotland fullback Kieran Tierney, who wears the number 63 shirt, Inter Milan's Croatian international midfielder Marcelo Brozovic, who wears the number 77 shirt, former AC Milan prospect Stefan El Shaarawy, who is now Roma's number 92, and Serie A duo Arkadiusz Milik and Gianluigi Donnarumma, who both wear the number 99 shirt. So that's it for today's Not Actually a 7. As always, let us know any new video ideas you'd like to see from us in the comments. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for HITC Sevens for more from us.